Hello, friends. Uncle Marv here with another episode of the IT Business Podcast, the show for IT professionals, where we talk about product stories and tips to help you support your clients better, smarter, and faster. This is the Wednesday live show presented by NetAlly, wired and wireless networking tools that you can trust. And we are joined by a very special person tonight. Jimmy Hatzell is going to be here in just a moment. I just want to say one thing. One of the things that you may have not noticed is that this show streams Wednesdays at 8 p.m. on the YouTube, LinkedIn, and the Facebook. And tonight, we are streaming live from the website. So if for some reason you get all jumbled up with how to catch the show, if you head over to itbusinesspodcast.com, you will find a video right there on the homepage. We are live from there. So anytime, itbusinesspodcast.com, we go live. Let's go ahead and get on with the show. And this man has been doing the rounds like he is Tom Cruise doing every late night show possible. Jimmy Hatzell with Hatz AI is in the house. Jimmy, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on. What an introduction. I love it.
Well, I feel like I'm the Dave Letterman now. You've done all the other shows. It's late night. Some people have gone to bed, and here we are. So you can be a little more loose here. Although you got loose this afternoon on Matt Lee's show.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always a little loose. Always a little loose.
Yeah, got to be loose. This is a rough industry. It taxes us, but I will say this though, that show, you guys were talking some big words, fancy, smart kind of stuff, things like productize and democratization. And this is for the poor MSPs that you guys were talking about. Although I thought the word you were going to use was cheap, but you didn't.
Fair enough. No. It's important that, everyone is getting smart on AI. I mean, it's touching every area of business, and it doesn't matter if you're have an IT consulting business on the side and you got a couple clients that you charge hourly or whatever, or if you're a giant multinational MSP with a, chief transformation officer who's working on this. AI is a reality, and your clients are going to be asking about it and are going to need help with it.
Yeah. So, of course, the question that I'm sure you've been asked the most is, what in the world made you want to start your own biz to solely focus on this?
Omar, I've always wanted to have my own business. Like, even when I was a kid, like I had lots of different businesses. Like my first business ever was I went to every house on the street and I would charge them like 50 cents a trash can to bring the trash cans in. And, because people didn't want to bring the trash cans in. So it wasn't much. Each house maybe you get $1 from. But when you do the whole street and you're a kid, that's some serious dough.
Yeah.
And there's lots of stories like that. Scrap metal business, like, lots of IT consulting stuff, doing stuff in high school and college. And, I've always had that entrepreneurial spirit. In the past, like 5-10 years or so, I've been working in startups, not for myself, but I've always wanted to start my own. And, it was about time now, like a spot where I'm at in my career, and I was ready to do my own thing. And like I just watched AI blow up over the past year. Like using ChatGPT was like using the internet for the first time. Like almost like illegally downloading a song off Napster for the first time. Like that's the same like
reference in there.
Yeah, like that's what it felt like, man. And I just kept exploring it, kept talking to IT professionals and MSPs, and like no one knew what to do. And I just saw that I think every business is going to be using AI way more than they are today, or at least that they did a year ago over the next couple of years. And it's going to be IT providers and MSPs serving that. So I wanted to build a platform around it.
So I know that we have some other businesses in the channel that are leveraging AI, I guess is the right word. And we're doing it from the standpoint of bridging the gap in communication between us and the clients. You got a side gig going on there already?
Yeah, I got a baby that's going to bed now.
Oh, well, you
Yeah.
want to
We're in New York. It's a cozy apartment. There's one room, there's two rooms in the house. There's the living room and the slash kitchen, then there's the bedroom. So,
I was going to say,
you know.
Don Lepre in his tiny one-bedroom apartment.
Yeah,
Probably don't
but
know who that is, do you?
I didn't get that reference.
Okay,
I
how much.
could pretend I did, but
That's the boomer in me going back. Anybody that knows Don Lepre, let me see who in the chat would. John Reed may know who Don Lepre is. But anyway, so what I was saying is a lot of companies have leveraged it just for the
yeah.
sole purpose of bridging the communication gap between us and our clients. You seem to be taking it a step further. How much further?
Well, that's part of why I started this business. I realized that the companies that were sort of forging the way on AI for MSPs were all focused on serving the MSP itself. So whether that's looking inside the PSA and trying to create an AI that can solve tickets faster, or augment tech so they can solve tickets faster, or communication with the end users, those are all great problems, and they're definitely gonna, like, that industry, all those companies are gonna do great, and they already are. They're great companies. But I'm focused on how do we serve our clients. And if they're going to use AI, they're going to consume different AI services, they're going to spend money on AI. How does an MSP or an IT provider position themselves to start offering these services? Should you be starting a prompt engineering business right now to help your customers? Should you be charging them to get Copilot set up or other AI services? Should you be helping them create their own LLMs? Should you be helping getting their data ready? Should you be there making sure that when they turn on an AI service, the marketing assistant, and I think I used this on Matt's show earlier, but the marketing assistant isn't asking the prompt, to create a budget and spitting out everybody's salaries. Like, that's real problems that are going to come up as a result of AI. And the only group of people that can serve small businesses and individuals too for this is the IT community. So, like, let's figure it out. And that's why I created this company. That's the problem I'm trying to solve, trying to build a platform where you can build a business around it, but also create, lead the way and create some education, train people up on how to do this. And, like, let's figure out what this looks like as a service offering. Let's figure out how to price these things. Let's figure out, what you could sell as software, what you can sell as margin, what you could sell as consulting services, what you could sell as managed packages, how you could get in the hardware business and manage these things for customers. There's just a lot to unpack. And, in 3-5 years, we're going to be going to conferences and it's going to be like, how to double your AI as a service practice. I hope that's where I think things are going. But it's kind of like we're here now looking around like, all right, what do we do?
Yeah.
So I think it's early, but I think it's going to be a real big industry for IT companies.
All right. So the website is technically up, Hatz.ai, and Hatz is spelled with a Z, folks, just like the name there. You are now 43 days and 3 hours away from the official launch. How close are you to being fully ready?
We're getting there. We're getting there. I've got my team working around the clock. I literally have my engineers pinging me right now. You'd be surprised to know that this isn't my last meeting of the night. I have another one scheduled at 9:30. So, like, we are working hard to get this product out and making sure that it's been properly checked for security and QA and all that stuff. So we're getting there. And it's part of how we can move this fast is thanks to our launch partners who signed up like just through conversations with me and helped like literally looking at product designs and telling me like, this is okay, no, you need to move that button over there, what if the product did this instead. So that's how we were able to move so fast. We were able to skip a lot of the like, let's release it and see what everybody thinks, and then like we'll rebuild it because it doesn't have product market fit. We're like, no, let's talk to MSPs for a year before we like think of an actual product to make, and then let's like go deep into documentation and designs and review them and build proof of concepts. And once we were sure that it was, or confident, I should say, you can never be sure that we have the right product to launch with, we just we turned it up, set the timer, put the timer up on the website, and I'm confident.
Yeah.
I should say, to answer your question.
All right. So two of the products that you show being offered, obviously the AI chat assistant, which most people are familiar with and understand. The AI app builder, which I'm assuming is going to be our big money maker, where we can design apps for our clients and stuff. Now, some of the other things that you talked about, and I'm going to steal one thing that you and Matt talked about earlier, this custom large language models. Is that going to be part of what you're designing, or is that going to be something that we can leverage, package, use? How is that going to work?
All of the above. So it's all put into our platform. We've already got initial designs. We're deep into R&D. We built, the way we build our platform is so we can plug the stuff in later. Basically, we are LLM or large language model agnostic. You can use us, we can, like, to start when we launch, it's going to be GPT-4 and GPT 3.5, but we are already using Llama 2 internally, and soon after the initial launch, you'll have the ability to basically switch LLMs. But for MSPs to be in the LLM business, what you're actually in is the data readiness business. So you're helping customers get their data in a way that it can be consumed by an AI and train an AI. And once you have the data, and our platform is going to help you get that and use it, you can actually run training models either off private ones like OpenAI, or you can train open source ones that we host on our servers in a secure environment, so it doesn't even touch a third party. So that's all stuff that is, we have in the queue. It's in the roadmap. We're trying to get all this stuff out before the end of the year. So Q3, Q4, we're looking at, that's when we're looking for a GA launch of, MSPs being able to basically own and potentially license LLMs that they've tuned and trained themselves to either other IT companies or small businesses.
So it sounds like we're going to be able to create our own packages that we can then resell. But does that make us responsible for some of that stuff that gets done with it? Or do we work hand in hand with you? And because listen, some of us poor MSPs are just going to be like, yeah, we want to make money, but we don't want to do the work.
So here's how you can make money off it. You can resell. So there's two different ways I look at AI. There's system of engagement, applications, Microsoft Copilot. That's a system of engagement. It's a way that you interact with AI. And then there's a system of record. System of record is custom LLMs. It's data sets. It's more complicated. MSPs are going to make loads of money in margin, in recurring revenue, and software off systems of engagement, right? You make, you buy it for, one, you sell it for two, whatever, however that works. We're all familiar with that model. System of record, you're going to make money. It's going to be a lot of work, but you can make a lot of project work and consulting dollars over getting those systems ready. You can charge management dollars for making sure all those systems are working right. And then you can charge consumption dollars and make a margin off the software. So backup is the closest example you can have. Think about moving everyone off of tape-based backup to cloud-based, either image-based or disaster recovery, where launch from cloud, get a server back up and running. Like, it's a lot of work to move things into that direction. So you make the project work, getting it together, you make money off the hardware or the software, transferring everything over, and then you make a reoccurring maintenance package on it too. So I think it's the similar opportunity. Same with movement to cloud, by the way. But I think it's going to happen a lot faster because it's a lot easier to sell these things than it is to sell security. I mean, backup wasn't as hard to sell as security, um, but I don't know if that answers your question.
It does. It made me think of a couple of others that I'm not sure how to ask except for this to go to it. So there's all these platforms that are out there that our own clients are using, some to go against us, because instead of calling, why don't I just type into Chat GPT, how can I bypass the firewall and get onto porn or whatever? I mean, that's what they're doing. So in a sense, are we going to be building these platforms with that same thought in mind, that, because one, we can build platforms so that they don't bother us as much, they
Yeah.
don't generate as many tickets, but we still build them because they're using the platform? Or are we trying to take their internal line of business and throw our Chat GPT product or our Hatz AI product into their model?
We're trying to make their business better. So think of it, if you have a company that's specializes in making widgets, and they have all this great know-how on how to make widgets and all this business knowledge on making widgets, and you want to train a model on widget making, you would have a data set on how to make the best widgets, and then you'd have different models, and you'd run training jobs against those data sets. And the thing is that the models are always changing, right? So you have Llama 2 as an open source model. Eventually there'll be Llama 3. There'll be, there's like smaller versions of it, bigger versions of it, different amounts of parameters, and they'll cost different amounts of money to run. And they will give different types of results. So as people start going down this path, and again, this is like, I predict around next year, the year after is when this is going to start becoming a lot more mainstream. But as businesses start going down this path, there's a lot of pivoting and moving and guidance that they're going to need in order to make things work successfully. So that's the answer to the question on is it for my business or their business. The other answer, or some other context I wanted to give, is everything we're doing is multi-tenant and organizationally managed. So you can manage all the products. If you make an app for one customer, you copy and paste it to another customer, assuming you have the right rights. I mean, you have to give some privacy to the tenants as the users. You can, we have a middle layer where any interactions before it goes to an AI goes to that layer first. We call it MIDO. It's called an LLM ops engine, large language model operations engine. Basically we can be that in between. I mean, we're not going to have all these features out the gate. There's going to be a whole industry pop up on like security around this, and data loss protection around this, and content filtering around this. But being able to make sure that people are using them in a responsible way, we can do some detection and some management around it, where you can go to your customers, run reports on usage, best practices, and also potentially sniff out some bad situations that business owners might not want happening in their business.
Yeah. So this popped up in the chat, and I don't want to get too far away from it. I was going to ask you about it earlier. Mike writes, I'm predicting Jimmy has the best swag at the conferences. So of course, I was going to ask you, have you gotten far enough along that you've started thinking about the swag? Because I'm going to be looking for the swag.
It's on my list. It's on my list. I think internally there's a task somewhere for me to review some of the initial swag. I got to take care of my design partners first, who signed up for me from the beginning. I owe them some cool swag. But we're gonna get it together. I have to give us like all the cool cyber QP swag. Like, that's Cynthia. Like, that's not me. I mean, and I guess some of it before she came in the first year, but like if you go back to cyber QP 2023 swag and 24 swag and look back versus 21 swag, like It was way better when Cynthia picked it out. So, maybe I can give
you
her
mean the nice soft shirt and the cups were all Cynthia?
Oh yeah. Yeah, those are all Cynthia. Those are all Cynthia. The classic green mugs that don't fit in any cup holders. Those
Yeah.
are mine. Those are mine.
I believe that's on a shelf way up in the back. That's not even out for display here. So, but the other one, the new ones are out on the swag wall out in front of the office. So we'll have to be looking for that. Purple's a nice color, I think.
I like it. I mean, it's hot. It's hot right now, I think. So we'll
right.
see.
Speaking of CyberQP people, we had one of your friends on the audio show yesterday. Kelsey was on.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah. So we didn't talk too much. We did a boomer versus millennial thing, and
did you really?
All right, let's get back to, let me find my spot on my notes here. Well, let me ask this. So you obviously have put a lot of thought into this. Now, your proficiency over the years has been basically, building channel programs for these companies, Scout, Barracuda, Cyber QP. This is the first time you're going to do it on your own. So it's all you. So let me first ask, it's not a softball question, but I'm going to ask, how did you kind of identify this need and really make that pivot as to you're going to be the one to make this happen?
Yeah, I just talking to MSPs over and over and over again. Like I keep up big time with tech news, like everything in venture capital and tech, and like I read tons of articles a day, so I keep that happening, right? And that's how I have been on the forefront of a lot of security things. I shouldn't say forefront, but on the early part of the bell curve on a lot of security things. But I also live and breathe in the channel, and oftentimes things get productized for the channel a couple years later than for the enterprise. And maybe it's not a channel thing, maybe it's an SMB thing. So I see this coming, and I think the wave's just going to happen way faster than people think. So that's how sure, like, this is the thing to do. Me, I don't know. I mean, I think I know what I'm doing. I'm trying to figure it out. I've got some really, really great people supporting me. I've got, co-founder Aiden Kehoe, who is the CEO and founder of Scout Cybersecurity. He had started another company called Oxford Global. Before that, insurance company. He'd worked in family offices and started companies before that, and he's my business partner. So a lot of the like startup business know-how things that you pick up along the way as a second and third time founder, I've got that in my ear, and I've got him on speed dial, who I talk to 50 times a day. But working in the business and executing, like, I've been all over that. I'm in. Anyone who's worked with me knows that it doesn't matter whatever my job title said and whatever job I was in. Like, I'm in every meeting, I'm in every area of the business. I can't keep myself away from it. So here we go.
Right. Here we go. So for those of you just tuning in, we've got Jimmy Hatzell, founder of Hatz AI. And for anybody interested, there's really not much news in terms of how. You just go to the sites, hatz.ai, join the wait list, and see what's coming up down the road. We are 43 days and 3 hours away. Jimmy, I want to take a quick moment and thank some of my sponsors, and then we'll come back with a few more questions. People, if you're watching the live show, you've seen me drinking from the cup. This is our supporting sponsor, Super Ops, and they are the all-in-one future-ready PSA RMM tool. Be sure to support them. Our live stream is sponsored by Computers Done Right, a managed service provider in Venice, Florida. It's on the other coast of Florida, taking care of businesses there, doing managed services, computer repair, even websites and social media stuff. And if you are a poor MSP, I mean, if you are an emerging MSP and you need an RMM, remote support tool, and you're not ready to jump in with the big boys, Instant House Call can provide just about everything you need. It is a white label solution. You can do multi-tenant, and it has all the features that the big boys have. So instanthouseCall.com, head over there, 15-day trial. You don't even need to put in a credit card to get started. All right. And coming up a little bit later, we are going to have Florida Man or a random question. So, Jimmy, get ready for that. Let's go back to the question. You mentioned that you've kind of had your head wrapped around in all of this. You've sort of talked a little bit about AI in the future from the standpoint of some possibilities for us as MSPs, talking to MSPs. Where do you see AI going long term?
Whew. I don't know. I try not to think about that.
I mean, are we talking Skynet type stuff or?
I mean, I don't know. It's I do know, I guess. I think like there's going to be a couple huge changes that really affect humanity as we know it. The first is when it becomes nearly indistinguishable between talking to an AI and a human in a customer service atmosphere or another structured environment that's happening digitally, whether on the phone or through video or through text. And we're just about there. We're just about there. So over the next, call it 3 to 4 years, every area of customer service, like it's going to be disrupted. You're going to be able to have AI version of Jimmy on the live stream, and it's gonna be very hard to tell the difference. Like that, it's gonna take like video will take a little longer than just audio, um, but that's gonna
You
happen. So
think
that's
it'll really get that far?
yeah, I do. I say a structured customer service environment more where there's like a lot of scripted answers. That's where it's gonna happen first. But I talk to some really smart people who like are deep in like MIT and like AI and go like on these like leadership panels and stuff, and their like consensus is this stuff is like 3 to 5 years out.
So more than the predictive bots that we see on the websites now, you're talking a level 1 support type thing where people
Yeah,
submit their ticket, something responds
yeah.
with, yeah, hey, tell me more about your problem. Show me your screen, and go in and, have some AI models built to like an if then this that scenario.
Maybe like it might be a little longer for stuff like that where it gets a little
Okay.
more complex, but think um like you're at a hotel, you call the front desk, like an AI is going to be better at servicing you than a human. Or you need to talk to your bank and you're getting stuck through the phone tree or put on hold. Like an AI is going to do that and replace that very soon, and it's going to be you can yell at them, you can be frustrated, and there's going to be need for humans for lots of things, certainly, especially like escalations, but most like we're going to cross a point where the AI is actually easier to help, actually easier to talk to and better at servicing than the average customer support person. So that when we hit that spot, that's going to change the world as we know it a lot, and I think it's going to happen sooner than people are ready for.
So I can hire Hatz AI to be my tech support and not have to worry about hiring humans, right?
No, I mean, I don't think it's going to be like that. Like that's what people are scared of, though. AI is going to
Well, I
take
mean,
everybody's job.
I heard you and Matt, Matt mentioned his dad, taking away all the jobs. But in a lot of sense, it creates other jobs. I mean, there's got to be a human to train it, a human to monitor and manage. I mean, it's not the same, but I mean, it's going to be there. We still have to be involved.
Yeah, and there's like we could talk for hours about like, okay, where do we go with society as this? Do we need new programs? Do we need to tax these things? Do we need like universal basic income like they have in all these futuristic things? Like, I don't know. I'm not an expert in any of that stuff, and I'm not going to pretend to be. And I don't really have I have some opinions, but not like strong ones that are formed, I guess. And right now it's a little bit theoretical, but I think it's going to move from theoretical to like real, like pretty quick.
Okay, so we're gonna go super far left. So are you talking Star Trek future, universal income, or Star Wars rebel society?
I don't know. I mean, I think it's a toss up which direction we go, to be honest. What do you think? What do you think?
I mean, I like the Star Trek model,
Yeah.
except that it doesn't seem, as long as you're a part of the Federation, then fine. Yeah,
Well,
you can,
that's
you're no, but the people on Earth still seem to have a little bit of a, mono. I was thinking of a mat word I was just about ready to throw out there. I'm like, monotheistic doesn't sound right. But, everything's still going to have some monetary value. Picard's brother living on the farm, it's much different than living on the, space station.
yeah. I mean,
Replicators versus, growing your own food.
yeah.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. Are we all going to be just eating some replicator food in a couple years? I don't know. We'll see
We're
where
going to
this
have
goes.
to. We're running out of space to farm and we're getting rid of all our farmers.
Yeah, because tractors, took all the farmers' jobs.
Yeah. Okay. So let me now go another direction. So there are a lot of CEOs of MSPs that,
Hmm.
at some point in time want to make a pivot.
Yep.
And they've grown their MSP as far as they're going to take it. They want to do something else and they look to start a side gig or another business. In a sense, follow your lead. What advice do you have for people that may want to, venture out on their own?
Um, I guess use AI. Like we're at a point now where you can do so much more. So look for industries that are ripe for disruption and integrate AI in every single thing you can possibly do. And I think you're going to be able to 10x your output, or at least 2x, right? If you do an okay job. So I think that like it's one of the greatest opportunities um, of a lifetime, of a generation, for someone who's a little handy in tech to go figure out this stuff and make a business out of it, or make any business in that they can use this stuff in. So the early adopters, I think, will do extremely well. And maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
I'm thinking here that some people may say, you know what, why do the MSP thing? I'll just pivot and just do all AI. If that's where the money is coming, coming
Some
from and going
MSPs
to.
went all security. Some of them went all security. What's easier to sell, security or AI?
I don't know.
Security
I
is
don't
hard to
sell
sell.
either.
I've been selling security for years. It's difficult to sell.
I don't
So
see, the
like,
thing is, I don't think of it as selling security. It's just part of what
mhm.
we do. That's
Yeah,
how
no,
I've
that's
always
true.
approached it with my customers. It's, you know, I don't sell cybersecurity. You need cybersecurity. I'll help you provide it.
That's true.
AI is probably going to be the same thing, but trying to get them to see us as the people that can help them, that's going to be the catch.
I mean, I think naturally people are going to gravitate towards MSPs, but same thing as always. You got to be out there knowing this stuff. You got to be able to
Yeah,
answer
but
questions about it.
we've got to be in front of them because if they're looking for AI, they're just out on the internet.
Hmm.
They're out somewhere and they're just, seeing cool little things. So we're going to have to build a mousetrap to bring them back, right? Because
It's all show,
listen,
don't
IT
tell.
is not always the person that they call first when this stuff. We're always the last one to know when they move, right?
That's true. That's true. Hey, all your devices are offline. Oh yeah, we moved our office.
Yeah.
Think about telling me?
Oh my goodness gracious! All right, so uh, how many people you got waiting right now?
I don't know. We've been doing some cleaning.
Some
We
pruning
had
already?
well, no, not like spam addresses and things like that.
Oh,
We had about I'll say we had about 100 in the first week, and so it's getting up there. It's getting up
all
there.
right. Oh, look at that. Land Infotech. They're right down the street from me. I got to fight with them to get a spot in this. I need to go make a visit to their office. All right, Jimmy. So, Hatz.ai. This will be interesting. You look nervous.
No. You're shuffling some papers like you're gonna, like, all right, let's see if he's really ready for this one,
I'm getting you ready. I'm getting you ready. But I was trying to think of if there's one last thing we wanted to mention. But again, people just head over to the website, get on the wait list, Hatz.ai. And what is it? What did they say in It's a Wonderful Life? Get in on the ground floor.
There you go. Getting in on the ground floor.
Yep. Okay. All right. Are you ready?
Sure. Always ready.
Florida man or random question?
I'll do Florida man.
You're going to do a Florida
Definitely.
man story. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And then when you're done with that, I have 3 that I'll ask you to pick from. So, for those that do not know, if you're joining us for the very first time, Florida man or random question is basically derived out of the idea that other cities and states did not think that they could find stories crazy enough to combat Florida man. And I will find a Florida man story, preferably in the last 36 hours, because that's how often stuff happens here. But you can go back and find a story at any time, preferably more recent, the better. But what Florida man challenge story do you have for us tonight?
Well, first of all, in looking this up, I found out that there are this isn't the story, but I found out that there are alligators in the New York City sewer system, which has been long been rumored, and I felt like that was important to mention.
Okay.
Um, the Florida man style story that has been dominating the New York City headlines, a religious organization in Brooklyn decided that they wanted more space, but they didn't want to go through all the hassles of filing permits and actually, being able to, build extra space. So instead, what they did is they dug tunnels from underground tunnels, basically, that went underneath other people's apartment buildings and actually managed to cross a street. Yeah, so eventually these became unstable, and they started to cave, and then people were escaping the tunnels in and coming out of the ground, actually, and moving like bars aside to come out of the ground, which then turned into viral videos, which then turned into the police coming to investigate, which then turned into a big altercation of people not wanting the police to come in to their house of worship to go into the tunnels, which then turned into lots of online conspiracy theories, um, which we don't need to get into. But it definitely hit the world news there, and it's a pretty. If you live in New York, you're like, yeah, I can see that. That's just another day here. Um, but yeah, that's my
Is
New York
this the
City.
Richmond's Churchill Tunnel?
No, this is the
No.
770 synagogue, the 770
No.
synagogue.
So were these like classrooms, or I mean, what were they building underneath the
Uh,
ground?
So well, there's been a lot of online speculation, and to be honest, I didn't know if I wanted to bring this story up because there's been lots of anti-Semitic speculation on it. But apparently they just wanted more space. They just wanted more space. So there's
All
rumors
right.
that it was during COVID lockdowns, and they're trying to go and worship during lockdowns. They didn't want to be seen by police.
Mm.
There's lots of other rumors going around. But I think what has been settled, at least in the past week, as the story's been out, is that they just, they just wanted a little more room, and they just wanted to fit more people down there. So they just, dug some tunnels.
All right. That's a good story.
You're like, I got that. You're like, here's a guy that
Actually, I might not.
murdered an alligator with a hockey
So
stick.
I've got, let me get back to my thing because I lost my place here while I was looking for that. All right. So story number 1, 2, or 3.
All
Pick a
right,
number.
go number 3 here.
Number 3. Okay. Oh, this one's not so bad. So the title is Florida Man Throws Beer Can, Shoots AR-15 because of speeding driver in his neighborhood. So a Florida man was arrested after throwing a beer at a vehicle he believed was going too fast in his neighborhood, subsequently leading him to shoot his AR-15 rifle. Eric Proctor told investigators that he threw a beer can at a vehicle. He confronted the driver about it. The driver said not to worry about it, so he went into his house and comes out with his rifle, and the dude shoots 3 times, once in the air and twice in the ground. Deputy said Proctor denied the allegations against him, but it was revealed that neighborhood video footage caught him in the act. Now, that doesn't sound like much of a story, but the best part of the story is this happened in Polk County, which is one of the northern counties, and the sheriff of Polk County has become somewhat of a legend. Sheriff Grady Judd is the sheriff there. Sheriff Judd became famous about a year ago when a lady was shooting at a would-be burglar in her house, and she missed him. And Grady said she needs to come to shooting classes and we'll teach her to aim better. So that is the county. And he would be a great sheriff on Live PD if you are familiar with that show.
That's pretty Florida. It's pretty Florida.
Yep. That is Florida. All right. Well, Jimmy, thanks for coming on. I'll let you go get a break in here before your next obligation. You are doing what? The top 100 shows and podcasts and interviews in the channel?
Yeah, I'm on. I don't know. This is number. I lost track now.
Right.
Getting up there.
Well, I'll be keeping track. I'm not sure if I'm going to sign up yet, but I think I may have to. But I don't want you to prune me as a spam email. So we'll pay attention there.
To the top of the list. That's for sure. You're going to move to the top of the list.
And we'll definitely be in touch again. I'll give you a little bit of time after the start, and we'll check in and see how things are going.
Great. Thank you so much for having me on. Really appreciate it.
There you go, folks. Jimmy Hatzell, Hatz AI, hatzai.com. Check it out. Get in on the ground floor. That is going to do it for this episode of the IT Business Podcast. And I was just checking my calendar because I needed to remember that next week, on our live show, we will have our newest sponsor on the show, Super Ops. Will be here and we'll chat about their product. They are gaining momentum in the channel. And we'll see how our good friend Juan Hernandez and the lady with the dragon tattoo are doing. All right, folks. We'll see you next time. That's going to do it. Go out there, make some money, live healthy, be happy, and we'll see you next time. Holla.